Hello and welcome to a super basic introduction to Udon. We are going to get right into it. This is going to assume that number one, you have the correct version of Unity installed. Number two, you have both the VRC SDK and the Udon SDK installed. So we are going to make the Udon version of Hello World, which is a spinning cube. So first we need a cube to spin, so let's go ahead and make a cube here. We are then going to go to add component on the cube game object, and I'm going to add, well, first I'm going to search for it. I'm going to add an Udon behavior. So an Udon behavior is the component that you add to run Udon on a game object. The component itself is called an Udon behavior. The program itself is called an Udon program. And the thing we're about to open is called an Udon graph. So you just click on that new program right there. It'll create a new program for you. It has a default name. You can rename it to whatever you like. So I'm going to rename it to rotate cube. And if we go back to the object, of course, it has been renamed thanks to the magic of Unity. Let's go ahead and open the Udon graph. So the Udon graph, when it's blank, just looks like a grid. There's nothing here because we haven't added anything yet. You can see that I pan around using the middle mouse button. You can select things by dragging a box. You can deselect things, or by clicking on them. You can deselect things at the moment by dragging an empty box. In the future, that will be changed such that you just have to click outside a node to deselect it. The other buttons that we see up here, we have add node, we have recenter, which puts us back in the middle of the graph, and reload graph, which reloads the UI for the graph. You probably don't need to worry about those two so much, however, add node is very important. Add node brings up all the nodes that we can add, categorized very nicely, also with a search toolbar at the top. We can also access this by pressing spacebar with nothing selected in the middle of the graph. So I'm going to add first an update node because we need to have something to fire the actual event here. Update is a built-in Unity function that fires on every single update of the scene. So next thing we're going to need to do is tell the program what we want to do on each update. I want to rotate or transform, so I'm going to type transform rotate. And we have a function here called transform.rotate, or just transform rotate in Udon. It's pretty straightforward. We're just going to drag this to here. I'm not going to go over this for the moment. We're just going to press save and then press play, and nothing is going to happen. I can already tell you, because we didn't put anything else into the actual parameters. It is executing, but nothing is occurring. So let's go back here, look at the Udon graph, and see what we need to do. We forgot to add in some parameters. So parameters are basically information for the function that we're running, which is transform rotate, to know what to do. Right now I'm just going to enter the parameters directly into this function. I'm going to say 1 on the y-axis, which means I want to rotate the y-axis. I'm going to put in 1 for the angle, which means that every update on the y-axis we want to rotate 1 degree. We don't need to put anything for the transform because, as you can see, when you have nothing there, if it's null, it defaults to this object, as in the object that the Udon behavior is sitting on. So if we save once more and hit play, we can see that the cube is rotating. So there you go. That is the basics of getting Udon started and the transform rotate hello world cube version for Udon.